In 1617 Japan, a ninja named Hanzo lives quietly with his clan. While he's away fetching water, Bihan storms into his home and begins slaughtering the clan member. Hanzo's wife quickly hides their baby under the floorboards before trying to flee with their son, but Bihan blocks their escape. They refuse to reveal Hanzo's location, so Bihan conjures an icy spike from his hand. Hearing his wife scream, Hanzo sprints back, only to arrive too late. His wife and child lie frozen and lifeless. Suddenly, enemies spring from the bushes, and Hanzo unsheathes his sword, cutting them down with deadly skill. More assassins emerge, so Hanzo ties a rope to a kunai and swings it with lethal precision, mercilessly striking down his foes. Eventually, he confronts Bihan and hurls the kunai, slicing across Bihan's face. They clash fiercely, exchanging brutal strikes until Bihan drives Hanzo's own blade into his stomach. Hanzo rams his head into Bihan to break free, but Bihan seizes his throat and coats it with ice. Hanzo slashes his opponent's midsection, forcing the fight to continue until Bihan smashes Hanzo's skull against a rock. Still pushing forward, Hanzo keeps fighting until he's hurled into a tree. Bihan impales his shoulder with the kunai, and Hanzo collapses unconscious. After Bihan departs, Hanzo awakens to the sound of a baby crying. Weak and bleeding, he drags himself toward the house, but collapses before reaching it, taking his last breath. On his arm, a dragon-shaped mark ignites with mystical fire, consuming his body until it vanishes completely. Then, Raiden appears through magic and takes the infant away. In this universe, 6 realms exist, with humans dwelling in Earthrealm. These worlds battle through Mortal Kombat, and if Earthrealm fails to win again, Outworld will conquer it. An old prophecy foretells that Hanzo's descendant will gather champions to secure victory. In modern times, Cole enters a cage match for MMA. Among the roaring spectators, Jax watches intently. Cole demonstrates sharp technique and fights well, but his opponent locks him into a chokehold long enough to claim the win. Later, in the restroom, Cole washes up while shaken by a strange vision he dismisses as head trauma. Searching for his daughter Emily, he's approached by Jax, who notices the dragon-shaped mark on his chest. Cole brushes it off as a birthmark. Meanwhile, in Outworld, Bihan has become Sub-Zero. His master Shang Tsung, worried about the prophecy, commands him to hunt Earthrealm's champions before the tournament begins. That evening, Cole eats dinner with his wife Allison and daughter Emily while Jax secretly keeps watch. Out of nowhere, snow begins to fall despite the summer heat. Frost spreads across tables and windows as Sub-Zero materializes in the street. He hurls ice at the panicked crowd, driving them into hiding. As Sub-Zero continues his assault, Jax rushes to scoop up Cole's family into his car and speeds away. On the drive, Jax points out that he has the same dragon mark as Cole and explains it isn't a birthmark. It's a sign that he's been chosen to fight as a warrior. When their car turns a corner, they see Sub-Zero freezing the road ahead. Jax quickly grabs a weapon from the trunk and orders Cole to get his family to safety, giving him an address where someone named Sonya can help. Sub-Zero slips into a building, so Jax follows and finds the walls and stairway encased in ice. On the upper floor, Sub-Zero ambushes him. Jax tries to shoot, but Sub-Zero freezes and shatters the gun. They trade blows hand to hand, and while Jax fights hard, his attacks barely hurt Sub-Zero through his icy armor. After slamming Jax into a window, Sub-Zero grips his arms and freezes them until they burst apart, then tosses Jax into a pit, assuming the job is done. In Outworld, Milena reports to Shang Tsung that Sub-Zero has eliminated one champion, but another has slipped away. Shang Tsung orders her to send more assassins after Earthrealm's fighter, revealing he has already won 9 tournaments through such underhanded tactic. Meanwhile, Cole brings his family home before heading to the address Jax mentioned. At the junkyard, he's suddenly attacked by Sonya, who overpowers him with. Once he brings up Jax's name, she demands proof, and when he shows her the dragon mark, she lets him inside. Cole notices photos on the walls that confirm Sonya and Jax are military operatives. She then shows him a room crammed with research, explaining she first saw the mark 7 years earlier in Brazil, where Jax killed an opponent with strange powers, and the mark passed on to him. Her studies point to an ancient hidden tournament where the mark chooses Earth's defenders, but most have already been hunted down. while Cole examines a picture of Hanzo and experiences another disturbing vision. A voice suddenly comes from the shadows. He switches on the lights to reveal Sonya has a captive, Kano, a mercenary who inherited the mark after killing a champion. Kano mocks Sonya with crude remarks until she shuts him up with a punch. Just then, the power cuts out, and Sonya discovers acid dripping through a hole in the ceiling. An unseen creature starts moving through the room, knocking things over before lunging at Cole. When the invisible beast drags Kano down, Sonya fires at it, forcing the monster, Reptile, to appear. Reptile retaliates by slashing Kano's face with its claws. Out of bullets, Sonya switches to knives, landing the first 2 hits before the last accidentally sticks in Kano's leg as the monster vanishes again. Reptile retreats into the ceiling and spits acid onto a beam, then strikes at Sonya and Cole, who can't defend themselves against something they can't see. Kano notices the acid weakening the beam, so he slips his cuffs under it, snapping them apart to free himself. He grabs a knife hidden in his boot along with a flare, which he ignites and plunges into Reptile's body. The creature thrashes around the room, accidentally starting a fire as it becomes visible again. The 3 humans press the fight together until Reptile lashes out with its tongue and ensnares Kano. Cole tosses a blade towards Sonya mid-leap, and she drives it into Reptile's chest before being thrown aside. Reptile drops Kano while thrashing, so Kano drives his hand straight into the beast and rips out its heart. After the fight, Sonya is annoyed because her years of research have burned away. Kano boasts that he knows the location of the champion's training temple, but refuses to tell. Sonya bribes him with the promise of $3 million to guide them, though she later admits to Cole she doesn't actually have the money. The following day, a friend of Kano's flies them toward the temple. On the trip, Cole keeps seeing those strange visions in his sleep. Once over the desert, they parachute out of the plane and are left to continue on foot. Kano keeps acting like a jerk, taunting Sonya for not having a mark like he does. The insults spark a fight between the two, but Sonya quickly proves she doesn't need a mark to beat him down in second. Kano begs her to finish him, but she refuses to kill. After trekking through the sand, the group encounters Liu Kang, who launches a fire blast at Kano after being insulted. Liu Kang introduces himself as a champion and offers to lead them to the temple. He guides them across a few more miles until they discover tunnels carved into the mountain. Using his powers, Liu Kang opens a hidden entrance and takes them inside, where the walls are covered with paintings of past Mortal Kombat tournaments, visions that echo what Cole has been seeing. Kano tries to pocket a relic, but is forced to return it when Liu Kang warns him. Meanwhile, Sonya notices monks carrying someone into another room and follows, discovering an unconscious Jax. Liu Kang explains that the ice preserved Jax's body and the monks are healing him. He introduces the group to Lord Raiden, who immediately doubts they're fit to be defenders. When Kano mouths off, Raiden shocks him with lightning to shut him up. Raiden warns that Outworld has already won 9 straight tournaments, and if they win one more, Earth will be lost. Suddenly, a chilling wind puts out Liu Kang's fire. Sub-Zero has entered the temple. Liu Kang hurls a fireball, but Sub-Zero evades and counters with an icy blast that knocks him back. Just as Sub-Zero prepares to finish him with a spear of ice, a bladed metal hat slams him into a wall. The weapon belongs to Kung Lao, who arrives to back up Liu Kang. Moments later, Shang Tsung and Mileena also appear alongside Sub-Zero, but Raiden intervenes with a surge of lightning. He creates a barrier that forces the intruders to retreat. Afterward, Cole and Kano are brought to an arena meant to help them unlock their hidden ability, while Sonya is excluded for lacking a mark. Instead, she stays near Jax, who finally regains consciousness and learns he's been fitted with mechanical arms. In training, Cole spars with Kung Lao and manages to hold his own briefly before Kung Lao unleashes his hat as a weapon and defeats him with. Next, Kano fights Liu Kang and loses almost instantly. As Liu Kang tends to Cole's injuries with stitches and fire, he shares the story of how Raiden found him and guided him in mastering his flame powers. Liu Kang tells Cole he must figure out what truly fuels his will to fight. Cole spends the rest of the day training, only to be beaten again and again. Jax also works with his new arms but feels they're weak and useless. At dinner, Kano won't stop throwing insults until Kung Lao and Liu Kang snap, mocking him for being too reckless and too pathetic as a fighter. Furious, Kano starts shouting, and suddenly his eye glows. He fires a laser beam, which Kung Lao deflects with his hat, sending it into the wall instead of someone's head. That confirms Kano's hidden power is a laser eye. The next morning, Cole faces Kano in the arena, but ends up beaten down repeatedly. Liu Kang keeps making him endure the punishment, hoping pain will unlock his arcana, but it never comes. Later, Cole approaches Raiden, asking why he was born with the mark instead of earning it. Raiden realizes Cole is a descendant of Hanzo and explains the slaughter of Hanzo's clan at Sub-Zero's hands. Raiden reveals that when Hanzo fell, his soul was dragged into the Netherrealm, where he now wanders endlessly, fueled by vengeance. His bloodline survived only because Raiden rescued and raised Hanzo's hidden daughter. Still, Raiden doubts Cole has the strength to continue this legacy and opens a portal, sending him back to his wife and daughter. Meanwhile, Shang Tsung gathers more warriors and commands them to find a way to shatter Raiden's barrier. Cabal, who once fought Kano and still holds a grudge, comes up with a scheme. Appearing outside the shield, Cabal mocks Kano with sharp insults, but also tempts him with a hefty payout if he betrays Earthrealm. Kano takes the deal and fires his laser at the power source fueling the barrier. The blast sends him flying, but also destroys the shield completely. As black smoke seeps inside, Shang Tsung storms in with his fighters and battle erupts across the temple. Jax faces Ryako, who quickly smashes him down with his giant hammer and leaves him unconscious. Sonya clashes with Mileena and matches her for a while, but Mileena's strength soon overwhelms her. Mileena stabs Sonya repeatedly, then drags her into the arena. She reclaims her weapon and licks off the blood, realizing that Sonya lacks a dragon mark. Since killing her would bring no reward, Mileena vanishes, leaving Sonya broken. Kano takes advantage, jamming his thumb into Sonya's wound before hurling her onto the rocks. He then blasts a statue with his laser, causing debris to collapse on top of her. Jax eventually regains consciousness and sees Sonya pinned beneath the rubble. Desperate, he strains against the rocks until his arcana activates, transforming his arms into stronger, upgraded versions. With ease, he clears the debris and frees her. At the same time, Liu Kang fights Cabal, but his fireballs are blocked. Cabal charges him at blinding speed, forcing a fast-paced duel. Elsewhere, Kung Lao hurls his hat at Shang Tsung, but the sorcerer dodges easily and refuses to waste time on him. Instead, he summons Nitara, who lets out a piercing screech as she swoops down from the shadows. Kung Lao closes his eyes to focus. When Nitara swoops in from behind, he senses her, dodges, and leaps onto her back. He then commands his hat to spin on the ground like a saw blade before slamming Nitara down onto it, slicing her completely in two. Meanwhile, black smoke seeps into Cole's shed. Feeling uneasy, Cole steps outside only to be confronted by Goro. The giant warrior hurls Cole aside and charges toward his family, but Cole flashes his dragon mark to pull Goro's attention back. Cole dashes into the shed, grabs a crowbar and hides, waiting to strike. Instead, Goro smashes through the wall, seizes Cole with his many arms and pummels him relentlessly. He even rips apart wooden beams to use as weapons, making the shed collapse around them. Cole crawls desperately through the rubble, but falling debris pins him down. Goro drags him out and prepares to tear out his spine. In panic, Allison grabs an axe and swings it at Goro, who swats her away. She and Emily dash into the car and ram it into the monster, but Goro effortlessly halts it. He rips open the roof, tears off the door, and pulls Allison out. Watching this, Cole's desperation triggers his arcana. His eyes glow as golden armor forms around his body. When Goro smashes him with the car door, the armor absorbs the hit, leaving him unharmed. Empowered, Cole grabs Goro and snaps one of his arms. Goro snaps it back into place and unloads a barrage of punches. At Emily's urging, Cole throws his signature uppercut, knocking Goro back in shock. As Goro charges again, Cole's glowing armor forms twin tonfa-like blades in his hands. He slashes one of Goro's arms off and cuts deep into his abdomen. With a final strike, he drives his blade into Goro's eye, killing him. Back at the temple, Raiden senses the awakening of Hanzo's bloodline and summons Cole through a portal. He tries to teleport the champions to safety with lightning, but only Jax and Sonya make it out before Sub-Zero interrupts with an ice strike that knocks Cole back. Kung Lao steps in to shield him, but Shang Tsung drags Kung Lao close and drains his soul, killing him. Liu Kang, hearing his screams, breaks free from Cabal and runs to help, but arrives too late. Cole restrains Liu Kang from recklessly charging, and Raiden teleports them all to the Void, a realm between worlds where enemies can't follow. There, Raiden hands Cole Hanzo's kunai before scattering the team to separate battlefields. Jax faces Ryuko, blocking his hammer with his new arms. After shattering the weapon, Jax unleashes a brutal flurry of punches before crushing Ryuko's head between his hands, killing him instantly. At the same time, Sonya confronts Kano in her home. She crawls under the floor to cut his leg through a hatch, then ambushes him from behind with a stab to the back. They brawl fiercely, and Sonya smashes a bottle across his face to disrupt his laser. She vanishes, tricking Kano into blasting the hatch. But she's in another room, and she throws a bottle of acetone at him, shorting out his eye. Sonya and Kano's fight carries into the bathroom where they smash each other with anything they can grab until Sonya is thrown out the window. Kano jumps after her, pinning her in a chokehold. Desperate, Sonya spots a garden gnome on the ground and drives it into Kano's eye, killing him instantly. The mark then appears on her arm. Elsewhere, Liu Kang faces Cabal again, this time striking with fiery fists while avoiding the twin swords. After trading blows, Liu Kang lands a series of kicks to Cabal's chest, hurling him into a pool of black quicksand. He then summons a blazing dragon that incinerates Cabal to dust. Meanwhile, Cole struggles against Mileena, who keeps striking from portals and landing hits. Mileena snarls as her face tears open, exposing her monstrous jaws full of teeth. She lunges at Cole to bite him, but he jams his weapon into her mouth to stop her. Just then, Sonya arrives and unleashes her new ability, firing a plasma blast that pierces Mileena's stomach, killing her instantly. At Cole's home, Sub-Zero appears and confronts him by showing Emily's bracelet before shattering it with ice. Enraged, Cole chases him into a smoke cloud and is transported to his gym, where his family is trapped in frozen cages. Sub-Zero launches his attack, shattering Cole's weapon and beating him down while freezing pieces of his armor to weaken him. Cole pulls out the kunai to counter, but Sub-Zero turns it back on him. Cole stops the blade with his bare hand, cutting himself and spilling blood on the kunai. The blood ignites the weapon, and Sub-Zero realizes it belongs to Hanzo. Before he can finish Cole, a fiery chain pierces his arm. Hanzo has returned as Scorpion, resurrected by flame. He drags Sub-Zero close and slashes with his katana while Sub-Zero counters with an ice blade. They duel fiercely until Scorpion drives the kunai into Sub-Zero and declares his new name. As they clash, Cole works to free his family from the ice. Sub-Zero wounds Scorpion and even forges a blade out of blood to stab him, throwing him against an ice wall. Still, Scorpion fights back, creating an ice clone to block attacks before both warriors tumble near Cole, forcing him to join the battle. Fueled by vengeance for his fallen clan, Scorpion unleashes fire to melt the ice trapping Cole's family. Together, Scorpion and Cole overwhelm Sub-Zero, stabbing and striking him until he collapses to his knees. Scorpion then breathes fire onto him, burning him alive. Afterward, he entrusts Cole with protecting their bloodline before vanishing in a blaze. Cole embraces his family as the other fighters regroup. Shang Tsung suddenly appears to collect Sub-Zero's corpse, vowing payback before vanishing when Raiden intervenes. Raiden reminds the team that the tournament hasn't even started yet, urging them to seek out more champions for the battles to come.